What's going on, guys? Fearmaky here, bringing you another video. Let's get into it. Let's roll deep and keep grinding out there, guys. Let's dive into the video. Let's go. All right, another one. We have it, boys. Ultimate Ajax completed. Unbelievable, man. If you love to have airtime and leap around like King Kong, then look no further than Ultimate Ajax. What a beast, what a bulldog. Extremely aggressive playstyle, expulsion exploding everywhere. I love it. This build is solely focused with the Void Charge Transcendent mod, and solely focused on Void Charging, which is your lead, your number 2 skill, and Spam and Expulsion, which is your AoE explosion. And you can see here the amount of area that we cover, how far we leap, how high we leap, and the radius that we expulse and blow everything up around us is just insane. An absolutely unstoppable force Ultimate Ajax is. I know he's more of a support and a tank build, and you can have 50,000 health, 100,000 defense, etc. But let's be honest, there's nothing in the game right now that promotes a tanky playstyle or a supportive playstyle. I know the devs want to do a Trinity playstyle in the future. Hopefully that will be true. But for right now, I highly recommend you build your character the way you want to build it. But in my opinion, Ultimate Ajax, build them aggressively. Build them as DPS. You're going to have a lot more fun. There is not enough group content that requires support and shield and defense and blocking for anybody. You want to be dishing out damage, you want to be aggressive, you want to be the leading pack, and you want to be a monster that Ultimate Ajax is. So anyways, guys, I'm going to leave you with the rest of the showcase. But if you pay close attention, I have absolutely no cooldowns on my abilities. I'm able to leap everywhere, reset my cooldowns, and keep spamming expulsion and barely use any mana. And when the mana is used, I regain it right back with either MP Collector or with Strong Mentality. There'll be a mix of both here as you see these builds go through, but that's what I'm doing. I hope you guys enjoyed the build. I hope you guys enjoyed the play style. If you want to just have crazy airtime, be aggressive, jump in there and blow everything up, stun everything first of all, and then AoE blow them up or knock them back to interrupt them, then look no further than Ultimate Ajax. I had a blast leveling him, catalysting him, and he was absolutely fun. From day one, even from normal Ajax to this Ajax, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with him, and I set out to do it. So I appreciate I appreciate how he flowed, how it worked out in the end. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of the showcase, and please look forward to the guide. You won't be disappointed. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you like the content, if you like the showcase, hit that like button. I appreciate you fellas. See you guys on the guide. Let's go. Alright guys, welcome back to another guide. Alright, first let's go over Ultimate Ajax's ability. Any ability you cast with Ajax, you will gain a custom resource called Void Energy. So you see, if I press my number 1 skill on my 4, I'll gain a Void Energy charge. If I jump, I'll gain a second charge. If I use Expulsion, I gain a third charge. And then my skills light up and become blue. any ability that I cast now will be enhanced. Therefore, being in the enhanced state, it'll deal more damage. It'll modify my number 1 skill to reflect damage. My number 3 skill will make it deal increased damage and then a wider radius, etc. Things of that sort. So that's what void energy is. And the build that I'm going to show you is focused around low cooldown, so we can spam these abilities and skills. And I'll show you my playstyle. As you guys seen in the showcase, you know how I play Ajax. Let's go over the Ajax's ability first. So you can see I left 2 modules blank. My hope is with future content, season 1 and further, there'll be different things in the game that require a different setup for Ajax. I know he is mainly built as a tank and as a support character with high defense, high health, etc. I did not want to build Ajax that way. I wanted to be self-sustaining. I wanted to deal damage with him and explode and leap around and deal massive damage. That's how I wanted to play him, even though he's built with a defensive toolkit and a supportive kit. I opted to go the other way. In my opinion, there's nothing in the game right now that promotes a tank or support group play that really requires that. It is really, you know, dishing out more damage and playing how you want to play. You know, it's really what it comes down to. And me, I like building as, you know, DPS. But anyways, let's get into the abilities. Ajax has Orbit Barrier. Creates a barrier in front that blocks damage when barrier is hit. Inflicts reflection damage on the enemy. When using an enhanced skill, enhances reflection damage. Max reflection damage rate is based on the defense followed by skill power. So if you guys seen, after I casted 3 abilities, I gained void energy, and at 3 void energy the abilities became blue. So if I had casted Orbit Barrier, it would have gained increased reflection damage and etc. The second ability is called Void Walk. Jumps forward and deals damage upon landing. Inflicts stun. When using an enhanced skill, the leap grants the leap enhancement effect, which pretty much allows you to leap a greater distance. All right, and also deal increased amount of damage to the enemy. Well, not increased amount of damage. It just stuns them and allows you to, you know, leap at an increased distance. Expulsion. Deals damage to nearby enemies and inflicts knockback when using an enhanced skill. Increases base damage in range. Alright. Hypercube creates a dome-shaped barrier that blocks damage when using an enhanced skill. Grants the barrier enhancement to allies. You can see that the enhancement barrier, I will touch base on this, increases your firearm attack increase amount by 10%, your explosive attack increase by 20%. So it'd, you know, be beneficial for Lepic to stand under it, etc. It also benefits your weapon and your other allies' weapons who stand it under this if you cast it while enhanced, which I highly recommend if you're doing intercept battles and group play, to definitely cast the Hypercube in the enhanced state, so that way anybody standing under it will you know, be able to mitigate damage, not have to deal with projectiles, and in addition they'll deal increased gun damage or explosive damage depending on the class. Ultimate Ajax's passive is called Event Horizon. When the skill ends, gains void energy. The amount of void energy determines singularity effect. When void energy is at maximum, use an enhanced skill. When using an enhanced skill, grants additional effects to the existing skill. Cannot gain void energy while using an enhanced skill, and void energy is consumed if out of combat. So pretty much when you're empowered with 3 void energies, all right, and you cast a skill, you cannot gain an additional void energy bar. Okay, but what happens in that situation is with each singularity level that you gain, or that you use your skills with, so either a void energy 30%, which is 1 bar, void energy 60%, which is a 2nd bar, and void energy 100%, which is a 3rd bar, you'll gain the singularity effect of cooldown reduction. So at 1 bar, you cast a skill, your cooldown reduction is reduced by 5%. At level 2, your cooldown reduction is reduced by 10, and level 3, 20%. All right, and if you're out of combat for 10 seconds, you lose a bar. So you would ask, well, if you're already gaining cooldown reduction at 20%, why you have so much cooldown reduction? The way I played Ultimate Ajax and what I was going for is to have infinite leap, infinite expulsion, no questions asked, no downtime, just straight up spam and explode and leap everywhere. So even though his passive gives him increased cooldown reduction, by going a slightly different build, it didn't feel good with what I was trying to do with Ajax. You can build it however you want to build it. If you want to, you know, remove nimble fingers or a couple of mods, so that way when you cast your ability with 3 void energy, a singularity effect level 3, you're already at the maximum cooldown reduction on that ability, or the next ability you're going to cast. That's completely up to you. I chose this way, that way there's no downtime on my number 2 and number 3, which I solely focus on. So anyways, let's go back out and let's go over the gun. The main gun I use with Ultimate Ajax is my lovely Enduring Legacy. I absolutely love the gun. I went with rifle and reinforcement for the 32% firearm attack, action and reaction for 61 firearm attack, sharp precision shot, which increases our fire rate and firearm attack when holding the trigger down, and it stacks up to 10 times, so 60% firearm attack increase here with fire rate. Rounds per magazine, increased magazine before you have to reload. Increased fire rate, you want to spend that magazine as fast as possible. Fire enhancement, which adds an element fire attack to your equal to 30% of your firearm attack. This is just bonus damage on top of, you know, the damage you're already dealing. Insight focus for the critical hit rate and critical hit damage. Better concentration for fire critical hit damage. Better insight for fire critical hit rate, and concentration priority for fire critical hit damage 120%. And it does take a penalty on the reload time, but that's okay. So that's what we're using for our main damage for guns. For our reactor, you 100% want a materialized phase reactor with non-attribute skill power and dimension skill power. You absolutely want skill cost as a mod on there, and you definitely want non-attribute skill power or dimension power. Either one will work. All right, it's completely up to you. So that way your abilities will dish out a lot more damage. The number one damage we're dealing is non-attribute damage, and focusing on our 0 and 7 skill there, so which is our leap and our expulsion. But yeah, either one will work. For external components this time, I did try this with the Slayer set. It did deal more damage, obviously, because of the 21% skill power damage. But the skill cost increase left me dry, and I couldn't leap. I couldn't cast my abilities. It didn't flow. And honestly, I didn't need the extra damage since I was already one-shot in every single mob anyways, similar to Bunny. So this worked out best. I chose to go with the Bravery set. The 2-piece bonus gives us HP recovery of 1.8%. Max shield of 11.9%. The 4-set bonus gives us 6.6% skill duration and 35% chance to reduce a random skills cooldown minus 1.63 seconds whenever an enemy inflicted with stun is defeated. And because we're going to be leaping in expulsion and blowing up the ads immediately while they're stunned, our abilities are going to be reset, and on top of our increased cooldown, on top of Ultimate Ajax's passive, it's just infinite. You have no cooldowns on your abilities. I think a couple of times there might be like a 0.5 second global or 1 second global there, but aside from that, there's no cooldown. And this just felt the best. It flowed. And when I tried, you know, Slayer set, it didn't feel as good. Anyways, on your auxiliary power, you want max HP and MP recovery out of combat. On your sensor, you want max MP and recovery modifier. I would probably rather have here MP recovery in combat, but that's what I rolled with. It's fine. I mean, as Ajax, you don't want to be dying, right? For the memory, I went with shield recovery in combat and increased defense. And for the processor, we have shield recovery and toxin resistance. All right, so let's get into the Descendant module. So I left 2 mods out, like I said before, so we can play around with the build. I'll touch base on the wave build. There is no wave build. I tried, you know, as I was leveling multiple times, Void Explosion, in all the other Transcendent mods. And nothing felt good, felt synergetic, and it wasn't flowing. And even the double stack charges wasn't really good. So I opted after about 3 levels to just focus on void charge. So there is no wave build. Let's not waste time anymore here on that. The main build that I use for Ultimate Ajax that I found as an all-arounder for dungeons, boss, and waves, for everything I like to do, is just a Fearmaky build. I leveled up Void Charge. What the Void Charge mod does is it modifies Void Walk and Expulsion damage to increase proportionally to defense when used as an enhanced skill. Cooldown resets. I did try to put on some defense gear. I didn't see the numbers or anything change. I didn't notice a significant difference at all with it, so I did not opt to go in increase defense or increase defense gear to scale this damage. I didn't notice anything worthwhile. We do have Spare and Shield with some defense, but we'll get into that, later. So Void Charge mod, what it does is modifies your Void Walk and becomes Void Charge. Jumps forward and deals damage proportional to defense upon landing. Inflicts stun to damaged enemies. When using an enhanced skill, the stacks in cooldown of Void Charge are reset. So this ability that's on a 3.1 second cooldown resets instantly. Plus with your passive, this is going to be down to like a 1.8 second cooldown, I believe. Anyways, there's barely no cooldown on it. Your expulsion also gets modified, deals damage proportional to defense to nearby enemies, and inflicts knockback, which is a huge interrupt, especially for those Farseers. When using an enhanced skill, it increases damage and range. So let's talk about this for a second, because this is 90% of the abilities that I cast while playing with Ajax. I leap around, stun the targets, and I spam this skill. So this skill effect has a skill power damage amplifier by 1060%. We are taking a damage, skill power hit because of our maximized range, but that's okay. And it's obviously the damage is amplified proportional to our defense at times 3%. Enhanced damage skill power is 1145%. But look at the damage radius of 12% on the normal skill effect. When the skill is enhanced, all right, it'll deal 1145 damage. It'll also have an enhanced range. It goes from 12 meters that we have. They're upgraded up to 18%, which is our max expandable range that you can have on this skill. So you're exploding and expulsing at the highest cap that you possibly can with Ultimate Ajax. It's absolutely crazy. And if the mobs don't die, they get staggered and knocked back just enough time for you to leap again, stun them, finish them off, or just expulse again and kill them. So the amount of crowd control and the explosion is pretty crazy with him. He's just a very aggressive, like a bulldog, just charging into everything and killing everything. So our playstyle focuses on these 2 skills 100% of the time. There are times where I will cast shield, where I will cast an enhanced hypercube to support the group or to battle res somebody, or not battle res, I'm thinking World of Warcraft, or to res somebody. But majority of the time we're just killing everything, stunning everything, knocking everything around, and in addition to that, that is supporting the group, because if the targets are stunned, if the targets are staggered and knocked back, they're not dealing damage to the party. So it is a support class, inherently, just because of what we're doing. For our main mod, one of our mods, we're going to focus on non-attribute, again for the non-attribute skill power, but mainly for the skill cooldown reduction. We're going with Nimble Fingers, skill cooldown reduction reduced by 25%. We're going with MP conversion for the skill cooldown. Spear and Shield for the extra defense and skill power increase to deal more damage. Focus on Dimension for the added skill damage, but mainly for the skill cooldown reduction. Maximize range, so our expulsion deals as damage in the maximum amount of range as possible. Our typical mid-air maneuvering, we upgrade this to increase our module capacity to 85. We went with strong mentality, similar to Bunny, so our abilities don't cost as much, allowing us to spam leap and spam expulsion without having to worry about it. I did, for about, I want to say 50% of my leveling experience, use MP Collector in this slot, and you can certainly put in MP Collector if you want. Sometimes I swap it out, sometimes I don't. The fact is, every time you kill 3 mobs, a mana globe is going to spawn anyway, so you're always going to be capped out on mana. So, you know, it's up to you guys. While leveling early on and I didn't have as many module slots, I did go MP Collector. By the time I put in like 4 or 5 catalysts, I swapped over to Strong Mentality. But both are very good, you know. Test it out how you're playing and what you're doing, and if you're leaping over mana globes and, you know, and running over them. If you're not, then go with MP Collector because you'll be full mana 100% of the time. We also took Frugal Mindset for the skill cost reduction in addition to the skill effect range. This brings our radius, I think it's 17.2 without the Frugal Mindset, so we are slightly over capped on the range, but not a big deal. The reason why we took this is for the skill cost reduction, and as an added bonus, it gives us 0.8% range to cap us out on the on the max expandable range on expulsion, including our void charge. And definitely went with increased HP, and I went with increased skill expansion for the increased range. So that is our skills. How I play the class, I pretty much leap onto the target, I cast expulsion, and then I'll leap again, and then I favor, it depends on what I'm doing at the time. Majority of the time I favor the enhanced expulsion right there. That's what I favor the most. Okay, so you guys can do that, but if you're, you know, if you want to leap and just do the enhanced and leap, you can do that as well. And then one thing, if your party is taking damage or, you know, there's too much AoE happening, you can drop your hypercube enhanced like that. And when you're in it, you see the buff I get on the side there, you gain 10% firearm increase. So if you're like doing a boss, you drop the enhanced cube and you just unload your gun, your Enduring Legacy on the target, and it just shreds them. And in addition to that, you won't get hit by projectiles or anything, and all your friends sitting in that dome as well will get increased firearm damage as well. Okay, and then one last one, if there's a lot of projectiles coming, you're far away from the mob, you can put up the barrier, which will also reflect damage, deal damage to the targets, and keep you safe. I rarely use the barrier or the hypercube barrier unless I'm resing somebody or supporting them. Majority of the times we're being very aggressive. We're just leaping, expulsion, leaping, expulsion, and that's pretty much it. And it's a really fun play style for me, and the amount of ground that you can cover with him is insane. One trick to get really high leaps, as you jump, then you press your number 2 skill so you can go higher. Okay, jump and then you press it. That's how you do it. In addition to that, I hook up to the sky and then you just press your 2 and then you'll leap even further. So you can cover an insane, like you could even be faster than Bunny. Like as I'm running across the maps with Bunny, especially on White Knight Gulch, I get to every zone, every area before anybody else in the group, simply because the elevations there, differences help. Obviously with Ultimate Ajax, that he can leap across the valleys and just cover so much ground and reach the tops with no issues. But even on Steroland, going from one point to the other, a Bunny will be running, and I know they're probably 11 and don't have their Bunny maxed out, but whatever. But I'll, you know, hook and then forward my leap, and I cover way more ground than the Bunny is running, and then my, you know, hook is back up again, and I just do it again, and 90% of the times I get to the points before a Bunny or any class. Ultimate Ajax is extremely fun. If you have this character, definitely embrace him, and if you want to build him tanky as well, by all means, that's up to you. But I think now everybody can see that the game loop so far, even on season 1, you know, some of the speed dungeons might be more catered to solo play, so I don't think building Ultimate Ajax or any class as support or a support role is really ideal, because right now there's no in-game feature that supports that. I know they're trying to go for the Trinity in the game, for the tank, a healer, and DPS, but there's no content in the game, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, that promotes a Trinity style gameplay of tank, healer, and support. So, you know, build your character how you want, but with my experience in the game, I'm building my characters as DPS and, you know, self-sustaining. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you guys liked the guide, and I hope they helped you in any way and you learned something. And if it did, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe for future content. This, until season one of the first Descendant will be somewhat, you know, the last video right now, because I don't have another Descendant built ultimate. I'm still farming for Glay, so I don't have her yet. I gotta get Luna still, and I don't want to burn my catalyst on the other regular Descendants right now until season 1 comes out. But eventually I will do Glay, I will do Luna, and do the other Descendants. And I know Ultimate Frame is coming out, so I'll definitely be leveling her and doing her build guide. I'm excited about her modules. But I will be playing Black Myth Wukong, World of Warcraft when it comes out on Thursday as well. I'll be streaming it, doing some videos on it as well. So I hope you guys stop by, show some support, even if it's just to say hi and like the videos. You guys have been amazing. And take care of yourselves and roll deep. Peace.